Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. I want to tell you what I have discovered can make such a difference with the lure that you're fishing. Now, that's putting it very generally, but let me be more specific. This year, I've discovered a new bait, and it's made by BERKLEY, and it's called an atomic teaser. And it's a little bitty 1/32nd of an ounce, almost looks like a little tube jig. It's a tiny little lure, and then it has a little tail coming out the middle of like the tube. It looks like a tiny tube. And I discovered that the trout really love this, almost like I was fishing the best fly pattern during an emergence of a frenzied trout action on flies. I caught a lot of trout for the first time in years, and I'm thinking, this has got to work in the summer. It's got to work for bass. And so I've had a few experiences now where I've gone out into our tributaries, fishing for walleyes, fishing for whatever would bite, but where the bass really like this lure. Now, think of it now. 1/32nd of an ounce is... You can barely feel that weight. If you're not using a really, really light rod and thin line, you're not going to be able to cast it. But here is what I wanted to tell you. They also make this lure in 1/16th of an ounce. You can hardly tell the difference looking at it. Same color, same everything. And yet, if I throw that 1/16th of an ounce out there, try to fish it the same, fish don't hit it the same. Absolutely looks the same, other than it's falling through the water at a different rate. And not only that, it's spending most of its time bumping along the bottom instead of floating mid-range down through like a natural insect or emerging being would if it was washed into the river. It's made that much of a difference. Now, let me tell you about another difference with this. Yeah, there's all different colors that you can use. The best for me has been like a light tan with a greenish head. Seems to be what both the trout and the bass really seem to like. But there's more to this story. This atomic teaser, I said, has a little tail, a little living rubber tail coming out of the back of it. Hardly noticeable. But I say that only to us. The fish seem to really notice because Walmart sells an atomic tube. And the atomic tube is exactly the same, except it doesn't have the tail. And when I've thrown that atomic tube out there without the tail, the fish don't seem to hit it the same. That little tail seems to make a difference. So now what I've done is I've tried to take little living rubber, bigger worms or something, cut it in little tiny strips and try to mimic that. So the atomic tubes that are available here in our stores, I can make into an atomic teaser. Now, I'm not the lure company and I don't do it as well, but it does make a difference. So the whole moral of this report is tiny little differences in a lure that you use can make all the difference between success and failure. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.